Hey guys, how you doing? All right. In front of you, you see two Huntsmen. I'm calling them the VIP Huntsman because I had to pay special attention to detail to make these two knives, and it did take me 2 days to make them. And I'm going to tell you the story behind it before we even get into the knives. Uh, Basically, what had happened was somebody did a review for me. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say names. They did a review for me on one of my knives. They happen to be friends with somebody that's sort of a celebrity and very well known in the survival community. Um, just through talking back and forth, I said, "Hey, I would really like to get that guy one of my blades." And he says, "You know what? Let me see if he wants one." And I couldn't believe it. I was kind of blown away because I would never think in a million years. I don't like to push my status or anything into somebody else's face. It's not my way. And he said, "You know what? Let me try. It doesn't hurt." And actually, the guy accepted, and I was pretty blown away by that. And I was very, very, very thankful. This is one of those make or break moments where, if I get my product into somebody's hands and they not only like it but promote it, we could be talking about a couple hundred orders the next day based on his own popularity, and that's just tremendous. It's phenomenal to actually have that take place, and hopefully it happens. In any case, the gentleman wanted one of the last ditch two knives, and unfortunately, like I keep telling everybody, I'm still working on them. They're not heat treated. The knife that you see up there on the website is just a mock-up. It's not hardened steel yet. I do that to take pictures of it, and then I send it over to heat treat. So he came back to me and said, "You know what? Just send me something that emulates you, your product, your company." And I said, "Okay." The only thing I could think of was the Huntsman. The Huntsman is primarily made as a hunting knife slash utility knife. So it's made to be very sharp but strong and very comfortable. Um, I built it and I made it by myself. Everything that you see there in front of you, I designed it. I had the blades cut. I do everything myself. It does take an extraordinary amount of time and effort because of the hollow grind. And the hollow grind, as anybody knows, is not easy to do. And I still have trouble with it, but I love it. I think it looks awesome. And I will continue doing it and perfecting my craft. So, to move forward, these knives right here, the ones that you see in front of you, had to be not only the regular attention to detail that goes into knife making for me, but an extraordinary attention to detail, because like I said, this could be potentially somewhere that I know there's going to be a lot of people looking at this thing, and I want to make sure that it's right. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit. All right, the first knife that I made, all right, these are 1095 high carbon steel, so if anybody's interested, I do have one or two of these left in 1095. What I'm going to do is, after all the 1095 sells out, I'm going to a D2. D2 steel does have 11% chromium into it, which means that it makes it less rust or corrosion. It's more corrosion resistant. 1095 is great steel because it is primarily the basis of steel. It's carbon and steel. There's not a lot in it. But when it comes to sweat or water or something like that, you will start to see surface rust. It is a very hard steel, and you can maintain its edge for a very, very long time. So it's a great steel, but you got to take care of it just like anything else. Frog lube, any type of oil, gun oil on there. Just make sure you put it on, constantly oil it. It might get a little bit of pitting or surface rust, but as long as you keep oil on it, you'll be fine. This is a 1/4 inch stock, maybe a little bit oversized. It does come with jimping on the back. The blade itself is 4 1/4 long. The handle itself is 5 inches, as you can see right there. Now the reason I went with a longer handle is because in the cold and the wet, while you're out there in the bush, a longer handle gives you a better handle purchase on the blade itself. This is a bigger blade and a heavier blade. So what I wanted to do was make sure that you have a really nice firm grip on this blade. This is OD green micarta. They usually come in black, but I did OD green on this one. Stainless steel pins, 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch lanyard hole, as you can see there. It does have a choil. Okay, the choil is in back of the blade, and it does have a clip point, as you can see right there. I'm sorry, a sharpening notch, or Spanish notch, or Spanish clip they call it. On this one, it has Hunter Orange G10 liners. And just one thing on this, all this that you see here, this beveling, was first done by machine, and then what I had done is hand sand all of this. I started with 100 grit sandpaper and went all the way up to 220 grit, and then went to the buffing wheel. Okay, so there is a lot of hand labor in this. On the handle itself, as you can see here, there is a 45-degree angle. In order to have good purchase with your thumb on the handle itself or on the jimping, I had to drop the handle, as you can see on both sides. Alright, and you'll see that on all the Huntsman. Okay, it has my last name stamped into the edge, and again, as you can see, it is hollow ground both sides. Okay, really nice knife. This one will probably not be going over for the simple reason, I don't know if you can see it right there, but there was some weird spacing going on, some weird holes that are not quite up to par. Like I said, this is one of those make or break moments, and I wasn't going to send something over there that I could see, and I wasn't going to be happy about it. You could see that in the back. Alright, so does it affect the knife? No. But you know, in order to be 100% or as close to 100% as possible, I'm not going to send something over to somebody that has potential to reach quite a few people. So I want to make sure the knife is absolutely perfect. With hand custom made knives, it is not easy to get it that way. Some of the blades that you see, probably a lot of guys that went to the blade show, there's a lot of machinery involved. Okay, there is a point where you come from being a handmade custom knife maker to a manufacturer. I'm not going to argue any of the points. I just know that in my little shop, in my little garage shop, I don't have all that high-tech fancy equipment. So there will be little dings and blemishes, you know, all that little weird stuff that goes on. But to the best of my ability and the best of my knowledge, I'm going to do the best that I absolutely can with the equipment I have. Okay, so what I had done is I had made another one, and you don't necessarily have to make two to get one. It's just that I had to, and I thought that it was pretty important to make sure I get this right. This one I went with white liners, and as you can see, all the liners came out perfect. Okay, came out really, really nice all the way around. All right, you know, very, very happy with this one. You know, it comes a point in time where you're just so exhausted, you just want to make sure everything's right. And the grinds are good. The edge is very, very sharp. Name is stamped in there. Okay, give you like a closer look on this. Now again, I'm going to have to clean up some of this. It's not completely done, but this is about 90% done. Okay, what I'm going to have to do is make a sheath for it. But I made sure all the edges were rounded. There's no sharp marks. It fits very, very comfortably. And it is a handle heavy knife. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. You know, it depends on what you're looking for. But out of all the blades that I have, as far as a field knife or something that you could use comfortably in the field, you know when you have this in your hand that you have a heavy-duty, heavy-use piece of thick steel that is not going to break on you, or you know, if you got to take something apart or cut it apart, like some type of wild game, or you know, do a little bit of batoning, whatever it is you need to do, this knife is going to get you through it. So, like I said, very, very nice work as far as I'm concerned. I think that person will be very, very happy with it.